Welcome back, Bepro Network Bulls. Today, we're going to take a little dive into one of the larger announcements coming from the Bepro Network team, and that very announcement being that the Bepro Network is now a multi-chain platform. We're going to discuss exactly what that means for Bepro Network, some of the exciting prospects related to the fact that we have become a multi-chain platform, and how this ties into other white-labeled versions of Bepro Network, and how all of the other bounties found within these other chains will all be discoverable through the Bepro Network application itself. If you've watched the last video and have an understanding about how the white labeling feature works and how truly scalable it is, I'm sure that last statement will get you very excited with the fact that all of these bounties will be available to view through the Bepro Network application itself. So, what do I mean exactly by Bepro Network is now a multi-chain platform? Well, originally, version 1 of Bepro Network was launched on the EVM Moonriver. Following that, the release of version 2 was migrated to Moonbeam. And up until now, all of the bounties that have been placed within V2 of Bepro Network have been done so through the chain Moonbeam. So now, with that being that V2 was launched on Moonbeam, this meant that any developers or projects wanting to use the Bepro Network application would be forced into using Moonbeam. Now, when we take into account how truly scalable we want Bepro Network to be for our users and other projects using the white-labeled framework of Bepro Network, it doesn't make sense to force our users to only use one chain. So, very recently, we've integrated a Polygon-compatible version of Bepro Network into our protocol alongside the Moonbeam one, where users that come onto Bepro Network can easily switch between any of the compatible networks that the Bepro Network protocol itself is on, and users of the Bepro Network protocol will be able to choose whether or not they would like to use Polygon or Moonbeam. Now, if you come onto Bepro Network, on any of the chains, you will still be able to see all of the bounties that are open in other chains through your desired chain of choice. All you need to do is simply change your network through the UI provided to you on the Bepro Network application, and you will seamlessly be able to launch and complete bounties through your desired chain of choice. So, with that said, you can see how, as we've partnered with Polygon for them to launch their own custom bounty network, we have also provided the users of the Polygon ecosystem to be able to use the Bepro Network branded protocol. The Bepro token has also been ported to Aurora and Polygon, so the Bepro token itself is now compatible with these chains. And now tying this back into my most recent video about the white labeling framework of Bepro Network, how these companies and organizations will use our framework as their own bounty networks, you can see how wide of a reach Bepro Network has, as we can tap into our ecosystem partners' communities by providing them the ability to use Bepro Network with the desired chain. I'm sure you can put two and two together and see how any future partnerships with other chains will result in a Bepro Network compatible version of our product itself for their ecosystem, alongside their own custom bounty network. Now, together we're going to quickly review a blog post posted on the Bepro Network blog by our very good friend Carlos Mendez, and it reads: "We continue our journey of building a Web3 infrastructure for builders and projects through our platform for decentralized development. Bepro Network is now a multi-chain platform, and our protocol is now available on Polygon, Aurora, and on top of Moonbeam, with plans to launch on other chains in the future." We've just discussed this in depth, but coming from an official team member, this just adds validity to our thoughts. How will the integration of multi-chain benefit Bepro Network? Bepro's Bounty Network can serve as a primary platform for projects from various ecosystems. We can now reach developers who may be more active on other chains, allowing for Bepro Network to expand its user base and increase the adoption of the platform. Supporting multiple chains will also help us build more partnerships and provide greater flexibility to builders who can choose the chain that best suits their needs. This can include factors such as transaction speed, security, or other features that are specific to each chain. Supporting mainstream protocols. Launching on Polygon is part of our strategy to help us tap into a large and active community of developers and users from their ecosystem. The protocol is now one of the fastest growing blockchains in the industry, with a thriving ecosystem of dApps, DeFi protocols, and other Web3 projects that can benefit from using a decentralized bounty platform such as Bepro Network. We are continuously working on Bepro Network to become accessible on other chains, and we're always searching for new opportunities to help builders to create their dApps using decentralized development. You can learn more from our tutorial on how to bridge Bepro to Polygon using the native Polygon bridge, and bridge Bepro to Aurora using Rainbow's bridge. And now, a quote from our CTO and co-founder, Helder Vasconcelos: "This milestone is a crucial step towards achieving our vision. as we can now onboard any Web3 organization to launch bounties on the Bepro network independently of the blockchain they're working on. Additionally, organizations can choose to run bounties and pay prizes on the EVM blockchain that best suits their needs and business goals. This significantly streamlines the onboarding process for organizations looking to manage their bounty programs through Bepro Network. Fantastic! A very interesting take on the multi-chain feature from Helder Vasconcelos. You get the sense of the integration of new chains into Bepro Network is an extremely easy process, and this really does both streamline and accelerate the potential that the growth of Bepro Network has to the wider ecosystem of blockchain, and really helps on the inclusion of every member of the blockchain space, not just specific chains. And also, excitingly, as many of you have been nail-bitingly waiting to see where these custom networks from both Aurora and Polygon themselves are coming along, because the announcements came a while ago for these individual projects. It states at the bottom of this article, also Aurora and Polygon's bounty networks will be launched soon. Stay tuned. And as you can see here on the Bepro Network application, you can go onto the networks and you can select the Aurora network, which is very recently released. As you can see, it's in very early stages. So if you're involved in the Aurora ecosystem, head on over to the Aurora Bounty Network and start building on Aurora is near. Very, very exciting times ahead. Like I stated before, once these bounty networks launch themselves within the Polygon ecosystem and the Aurora ecosystem, all of the bounties placed within these bounty networks will be viewable from a discovery page hosted on the official Bepro Network protocol itself. So you can go to Bepro Network as a centralized place to find all the jobs available across the Bepro Network. And if you find a bounty that you like through the Bepro Network application, isn't on the official Bepro Network platform chains and on one of these custom bounty networks, you will be seamlessly redirected to these custom bounty networks, and you will be able to both develop and contribute to these white labeled bounty networks. And who knows, you may even create some bounties yourselves within these desired ecosystems. You really start to get an idea of the exponential growth of the Bepro Network and how onboarding some of these larger industry players to use Bepro Network's framework as their bounty network framework of choice helps funnel so much user traffic into the Bepro Network application itself, driving mass exposure to the Bepro token for both organizations, curators, and investors. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little video for you describing just how important and revolutionary this multi-chain feature is for Bepro Network going forward. If you have any questions regarding this multi-chain feature and how it relates to Bepro Network and their partners, or any question related to Bepro Network whatsoever, please leave them in the comments. If I don't have the answer for you, I will find that answer from one of our official team members. So don't be shy, get involved in the Discord or the Telegram, both the official and the unofficial Bepro Bulls Telegram group. There's conversations going on in that Telegram group very frequently about the future of Bepro Network, and it's just a group of awesome people there. So come get involved. If you've got any ideas for what you'd like me to cover in the future, let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to cover them in the future. If you like the content, please make sure to follow the channel, because education is key for both investors and organizations. If you are an investor in Bepro Network, you need to make sure you understand these aspects of the project, because it will really put you ahead of the curve compared to other people who just take a quick glance at Bepro Network. And you'll be able to start piecing together all of these different aspects of Bepro Network and how they really complement each other and streamline so much exposure to Bepro Network and the growth for the Bepro token itself. And with that, I'll see you in the next one, Bepro Bulls.